Everybody, welcome to Preservation Evoker. We're running the same exact build that I run, or something similar that I run in retail, because I just didn't have the time to really test out some crazy builds. Where's my... yeah, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. I've been having surprising amount of fun with Preservation. Now, there's been quite a few changes in this PTO. This is the PTO week 2. So there's been nerfs to Evoker. They nerfed Spirit Bloom, or sorry, they initially wanted to buff Spirit Bloom, and then they said no. They said no to Spirit Bloom, guys. They said no to my beautiful Spirit Bloom. I am running the 2-set bonus. 2-set bonus is... I honestly think 2-set bonus might be the most impactful healer 2-set bonus that I've seen so far. Like, I'm field crafting here, but honestly, the amount of... so every time you cast an empowered ability, look at the amount of essence bursts I have. I have essence burst through the wazoo, man. I have essence burst through the wazoo, man. So every time I cast like an empowered ability, it's... okay, it somehow cancelled there. It's also going to cast Living Flames. There's a cap on how many you can do, but Living Flames, if you have essence burst talent, which you should, is going to give you a chance of getting a free spender or a free ability, which honestly is fantastic because they nerfed Temporal Anomaly, and I think they're nerfing... I'm gonna bloodlust this, and I think they're nerfing Temporal Anomaly because they don't want... I don't know what Blizzard wants to do with Temporal Anomaly, if I'm being completely honest. They've been nerfing it, changing it all of the time. They nerfed... they didn't nerf Temporal Anomaly, they nerfed Resonating Sphere from Temporal Anomaly. But let's be honest, most people are running Temporal Anomaly because of Resonating Sphere. Now, maybe Nosdormus is going to be a thing, I don't know. Maybe people are just not going to run Temporal Anomaly altogether. That could also happen. You could have a lot of different things happening in terms of... so, in my opinion, what happens now is that if you're running Grace Period... again, I can't really show it to you right now because I need to heal. So if you're running Grace Period, which a lot of people run in Mythic Plus, they blanket their party with Temporal Anomaly Resonating Sphere, they blanket their party, and then they apply Reversions, which is also going to amplify your healing in general, which feels really great. Now you can't really do that efficiently because your Resonating Sphere is only going to impact 3 people, which again feels very... I'm not really optimizing my stasis usage here, but whatever. So, you're not going to be able to blanket it that easily. But that's fine, I guess. Dude, I use my stasis in the most memey way. I'm trying different things here. Actually, I'm not trying anything, I'm just playing. So you're not able to blanket it, but now because your empowered ability, so for example, let's cast our Spirit Bloom here. And it gave me Essence Burst. So now I'm able to give echoes to this person because of the Essence Burst for free. I'm not limited by essences. So I think and that's a full essence. That's not a baby essence that you get from your things like Temporal Anomaly. So maybe Blizzard is like, okay guys, I don't want Preservation Evokers to be absolutely, utterly dependent on Temporal Anomaly. Do you remember how OP Temporal Anomaly was at the start of expansion? Oh my. Like, it's insane. Whoa, there was a bit of aggro issues here, guys. We got an angry mob, man. Let's decurse ourselves. Do I use it? You know what? Let's go. I'm gonna use my Emerald Communion here. So they reverted the buff to Spirit Bloom, which honestly I'm not overly unhappy about that. You know why? Because every time you use your Spirit Bloom, you're also going to shoot out Living Flames. You see that? And honestly, on my previous testing, that was almost all overhealing all the time. So by reverting the change, I don't think it's gonna impact you that much, but they did nerf Rewind. So Raiders are probably going to be... but that's one of those things again, I messed up my Spirit Bloom. I messed up my stasis here. Whatever, I'm just gonna go full. Don't look at my stasis usage. I'm literally just pressing whatever is available. I'm trying to gauge how much healing and damage I can do based on the 2-set bonus. Now, I'm talking about 2-set bonus pretty much all the time. Stasis, let's go, man. Because the 4-set bonus is... oh, I don't want to talk. We don't talk about the 4-set bonus here, okay, guys? Dude, the Spirit Bloom healing is pretty big, though. You see that? Even with the nerf, again, it wasn't a nerf. They just reverted the buff. So I still like. I shouldn't talk about talent builds for Evoker right now, because I genuinely believe talent builds. I think there's probably going to be cause for concern in terms of temporal anomaly enjoyers. Maybe people are not going to run temporal anomaly. Maybe people are going to run a completely different build to do more with like dream breath healing. I don't know. Maybe people are going to run temporal anomaly and they're going to run Nosdormus instead, which actually probably has a lot of synergy, because with Nosdormus you're lowering the cooldown of your empowered abilities, and your 2-set bonus is all about those empowered abilities. So there is a lot of, you know, there's a lot of little different talent builds that you couldn't run. But I was kind of pleasantly surprised, I'll be honest with you, I was kind of pleasantly surprised with how it feels, how Evoker feels. Because I think the 2-set bonus really hardcore carries. I think it really hardcore carries Evoker right now. The 4-set bonus in terms of random echoes being applied from your Living Flame, first of all, the chance is quite low. Like, there's just so many issues with the 4-set bonus. But that's, honestly, when you think about this, if you really think about this, let's use our stasis. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't have really used my stasis. Look at that. Look at the essence burst, man. And the thing is, the mana concerns for Evoker, if you really... I'm going to use Spirit Bloom here just in case. I'm going to store stasis for the next pull. The mana concerns for Evoker, which again, Blizzard's rationale is that every healer should be very careful about how they use their essences or how they use their mana. If you're running that energy loop, which you probably might be, if you're running energy loop, you're gonna have a lot of essences, and you can use those essences for disintegrate, and you're going to get mana from disintegrate. So arguably, like right now, I'm just using it all into disintegrate. I'm just getting my mana. Okay, I need to start healing, man. Your boy has to start healing. I'm gonna apply some... Again, the grace period... I think the biggest issue with the temporal anomaly resonating sphere nerf is that if you end up running grace period, and you want to blanket your party really quickly, that's definitely gonna be a nerf. Because if you want to blanket your party for grace period, again, for the people who don't know, grace period is that your healing is increased by 5% of targets with your reversion, which you can put 2 points in. I haven't put 2 points. You can't put 2 points in. Grace period can be a decent way of blanketing your party and providing a decent amount of extra healing. So it's nothing that you're gonna like be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, it can matter in a lot of these keys where you need a lot of healing. It can absolutely matter. You know what we're gonna do here? Zephyr. I don't even want to... Dude, I don't even... You know what? We're just gonna apply reversions here. I don't need additional healing here. They did buff certain heals in terms of like your Verdant Embrace and things like that. But man, I just like... Are you gonna have to... If you ever going to... Ooh, this is a problem. I'm gonna rewind. This should be big. This should be big, man. I need to move. Let's go, team. Look at the amount of... Dude. Because I'm running these two here. My Fire Breath. Did you see that? That was pretty juicy, man. I don't think it's in as bad spot as I initially predicted it. I don't think it's that bad. I think if you like Evoker, I think you should stick with Evoker. I think if you can play Evoker really well, I think you can have a good time as well. I do think that the viability of Evoker in hierarchies is going to depend on augmentation, and I think because of that, because augmentation is not really getting big nerfs, I think there's going to be a lot of preservation. Evokers who do high keys, they're just going to be like, you know what, I don't want to be declined for keys because I'm not augmentation. Like, I foresee that happening again, if I'm being completely honest. But in terms of the, like I said, in terms of the, I'm gonna save Fire Breath to pad, okay guys? I'm gonna save Fire Breath to pad. Padding is the key to success in anything in life. Like, one of the big advantages of Evoker in general is, hey, your DPS rotation does not require a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist or whatever. Uh oh, I'm not gonna get it. I got 2 of them, man. I'll take that. You know what? I'm gonna use Spirit Bloom here and put it in my stasis. And just store it up. I'm gonna store it up, man. You know what? I might actually have to kill these. I'm gonna put Grey Spirit. I'm expecting some sort of damage. I actually pushed them into it by accident. I was meant to knock them up. Like, the good thing about it is Evoker is very mobile, but a bad thing about like, it's one of those things where it can be an absolute deal breaker, or one of those things you might never notice is the range limitations of Evoker. Now there's a big if here. I foresee, at least based on the statistical information, the supercomputer that I use to determine the metas, I foresee that melee is probably going to be quite big in Mythic Plus, because there's a melee legendary. There is rogues. Rogues are absolute. Outlaw rogue is borderline, does triple the damage. I've seen outlaw rogues doing 300k damage in dungeons. Like, there's no shot that's going to be a real thing when it comes to. But like, let's be honest, a rework of a class usually means that they're going to be doing pretty well. Usually means that they're going to be, so melee are probably going to be better, which actually is a boon for your preservation of Evokers, because there is nothing more pleasant to heal, in my opinion, than a full melee group as a preservation evoker. Everyone gets hit by your dream breath, especially if you're running those, especially if you're running that renewing breath. Maybe renewing breath is going to be a thing as well. Maybe you're going to be like, hey, I'm not going to run Temporal Anomaly at all. I'm going to mix up some of these and go into that, because this is the healing build. If you take points in Renewing Breath, you can have, your Dream Breath could be like insane. Evoker is one of those healers that you can have a DPS build, or you could have a healing build. But when you say DPS build, I do think these talents are also pretty nice, man. So this is one of the things I dislike about Evoker. And this is going to come across really weird, but I don't like the choices. The choices are so good in terms of what you want to provide, damage or healing, that it almost feels sometimes like, do I go full healing build? Do I go like DPS build? It honestly sometimes feels really weird. This is going to be important. I'm going to ramp up here. Zephyr as well. I got to interrupt, dispel, grace period. Look at the fire breath. Look at the people. Okay. For some reason, my fire breath is cancelling early. But look at this, we're gonna use Verdant Embrace into Communion. No one's ever gonna die in this. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it, man. So I think for a lot of people who are unsure about Evoker, I genuinely think it's still a really fun healer. I just played Evoker for 2 seasons. So I'm probably genuinely myself, I'm probably going to be looking for something new, depending on whether the guild needs it and stuff like that. Whoa, what the hell was that damage? What the heck, dude? That was insane. I'm gonna cast a full rank here because I want to heal people. Dude, what is going on here? Did they just like, this is not supposed to be like this. What the heck? Damn! Let's go. I missed that Spirit Bloom hot a little bit. I think the guy stood in the thing. I don't know. Maybe not. It seems like there's more damage happening here than a lot of the other times I was doing this. This is a little bit weird, man. Can I hit everyone? A little bit more. Maybe I should have bloodlusted this. Ew, like this boss is absolutely wrecking it. Fire breath, let's go, dude. Like the DPS rotation of Evoker, you're never gonna get that wrong. I've had a lot. I've had surprising amount of fun with Evoker so far. I still miss like if there was like instant cast Living Flames to Evoker, man. Like, I keep banging on about instant cast Living Flames, but man, once you get a taste of that good life, you just can't go back type of thing, you know? I think there could be a lot of changes for talents. I think Evoker in Raid felt really different and actually surprisingly more fun than expected, because I had low expectations because of the 4-set bonus. I just hate anything with RNG. Holy Priest has an RNG tier set bonus and I hate it. I hate it. Preservation Evoker 4-set bonus is RNG and I hate it. Like, I think Blizzard should really stop giving, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if any healer out there who's healing right now enjoys having stronger heals that is random. Like, I just don't think any healer right now is really enjoying that in terms of, but who knows. I've had a good time, man. I've had a decent time. If you look at the overall healing, I think it was doing like 66k. I wasn't really overly stressing, but you do have to practice. I don't think Evoker is an easy healer to play. A lot of people say like it's easy and all that. I don't think it's an easy healer to play. I think the fact that you still have a lot of your power tied into your empowered abilities. There has been buffs. There has been buffs to... again, they wanted to buff your Spirit Bloom, but they didn't really do it. They nerfed your Rewind, which is probably bigger in something like raid environments. But honestly, nerfing Rewind is something that Blizzard is trying to... They're trying to reduce the power of cooldowns. They're trying to reduce the power of cooldowns and things like that. There hasn't been an overly insane amount of changes for Preservation Evoker outside of your Temporal Anomaly, Resonating Sphere nerfs. That was like one thing that a lot of evokers are really hating about. There's been some nerfs to Cycle of Life. That was the Emerald Blossoms build that people were running in Mythic in raids. That was very popular for something like Rashok. There's been some nerfs. It'll be interesting to see. I think Verdant Embrace got buffed, but like it's such a, like, I don't know how many people actually use Verdant Embrace as a single target heal to save someone's life, because honestly there's more times that I've used my Verdant Embrace and then there was a swirly and I died, and you have to be very careful about how you use your Living Flame, your Verdant Embrace, and then hard casting Living Flames. It can sometimes feel a little bit clunky, but in terms of the overall healing for the dungeon, again, you can see I did a decent amount of HPS. The damage was actually quite high. In terms of the breakdown, Spirit Bloom, Dream Breath was... Imagine if I was running Renewing Breath. If I was running Renewing Breath, Dream Breath would be a lot higher, depending on how many points I would put in and stuff like that. Spirit Bloom buff was reverted, so Spirit Bloom is doing a little bit less healing. But the thing is, at least it's doing less healing than my previous PTO tests. But where's my 2-set bonus? We have Reversion, we have Temporal Anomaly. Again, I don't know if Temporal Anomaly is going to be usable. Life Giver's Flame did a lot. Living Flame is basically... Again, I didn't cast a single Living Flame in terms of defensive. Maybe I casted one. The overhealing is still quite high, but that's to do with the fact that I still think Spirit Bloom is doing a good amount of burst healing. And a lot of the times, when Spirit Bloom heals people to almost full, the Living Flames afterwards are literally just overhealing. And I don't think there's a good way to fix that right now. Unless Living Flame, when it overheals, turns into a hot or something. It turns into a hot and then... But I don't think Blizzard is going to do something along those lines. So the tier set bonus or the 2-set bonus is still doing a lot of overhealing. But the essence burst that you get from it can be turned into disintegrates, can be turned into echoes. And then those echoes can be turned into... reversions, and those reversions can be turned into grace period, and that grace period is going to increase your overall healing. So you can see, you know, it's like a feedback loop of how the class plays, but maybe there's going to be some changes in terms of your talent builds, in terms of the 4-set bonus because they need it. But overall, I genuinely have a decent amount of fun with Evoker. I think the 2-set bonus makes meaningful changes, especially in raids. I really want to see before the patch comes out. Are people going to use Temporal Anomaly? If people are going to use Temporal Anomaly, are they going to be using those Dormus teachings? Is Resonating Sphere going away? In Mythic Plus, are people going to try and build that Renewing Breath build a bit more? Are they going to go that grace period? Is the 4-set going to change? Because the 4-set, honestly, the 4-set bonus needs changing. It needs changing. The 2-set bonus almost makes up for the fact that your 4-set bonus is so lackluster. The 2-set, like, what is up with Blizzard making 2-set bonus for Evokers absolutely insanely overpowered? Like, they keep doing that all the time. But guys, let me know how you feel about Preservation Evoker. Are you sticking with Evoker? If you're doing high keys, how do you feel about Evoker competing with Augmentation? What are your thoughts? Because I honestly still see Augmentation being a thing in Mythic Plus or raids when it comes into 10.2, because Blizzard either has to decimate Augmentation to a point that it's not usable at all, or it's just going to be something that you're always going to bring. And honestly, bringing Augmentation means that Preservation is losing some power. Let me know how I feel, and let me know if I missed out on some talents. Give me some suggestions in terms of what talents could be interesting to test, and maybe I'll test it in the future. Let me know, and I'll see you in my next video.